Hi guys, welcome back to Face Over Matter. It's Jay here, and today is another spiritual video. This makes number 3 of my spiritual series. Now, I did say before, if you guys wanted me to make this a weekly thing, I did decide that this was going to be a weekly thing, but last week was the struggle. So yeah, but today I am bringing you a message that honestly came out of nowhere. Like I said before, I pray hard. I talk to God a lot before I even decide to do or pick a topic. And honestly, the day I'm recording on February 7th, I was reading this book. This is where the message kind of originated from. But in my heart, this was it. It was just like a burning fire thing. It felt so good inside. And I'm just like, yes, thank you, God. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for giving me this message, because I feel like it is perfect. So what I decided to call this message is being set apart, not aside. And this originated from, this actually kind of hit home for me, because this is something that I have experienced a lot. And it's something that the Lord actually revealed to me as a better understanding type of thing, to understand why I always felt set aside. But the Lord revealed to me that it's not being set aside, it's being set apart. And because of that, it's a purpose behind it. So just get your minds ready. If you want to take notes, go ahead and grab a pen, a paper. While I'm rambling, go ahead and grab that so we can get started. So I hope you guys find these videos very informational for you guys and very touching or inspiring or whatever else. I know the first 2 spiritual videos that I did really helped you guys, so I hope this one will do the same. And like I said, I always want to bring you these messages from a home standpoint, something that I have experienced, and not always trying to give a testimony, but also give the message that the Word provides, but also giving some kind of reference and relativity to the message so you guys can have a better understanding, so that I can present the message the way God wants me to, and to help you guys understand it a little bit better. So again, this title is called Being Set Apart, Not Aside. I'm going to read you this little section. It's literally like 2 sentences. So the book I am reading is called Uninvited. It is by LYSA TERKEURST. Please forgive me if I am pronouncing this wrong. I'm pretty sure I am, but sorry. But I was reading, I'm on chapter 9. So I've been rolling. The other day I was on chapter 3. So I've actually been reading 2 chapters a night so far. So I'm rolling pretty fast through the book. I'm pretty much halfway. Okay, so what I want to read to you guys is from, if you have this book, it's on page, I'm going to start on page 111, and this is part of the chapter, Why Does Rejection Hurt So Much? So basically this message comes from feeling lonely, always being left out and not understanding why. You feel like you never have friends, never have someone to confide in, and you always, especially like in school, with high school or college, you always feel yourself sort of isolated from cliques and from groups of friends and people who just kind of, hang together all the time. You always find yourself alone. And that is something I know all too well. So to start off in the book, I'm going to start on page 111. And if you have it, you can follow along, but this will be very quick. So she was talking about rejection can be humbling to the point of humiliation. So out of being rejected and having humiliation, there are good things that can come out of being humiliated. So the gift of silence is where I'm going to start, but I'm going to skip down to where she starts talking about God's voice. So she says, I'm trying to weave more silence into the rhythm of my life now, so I can whisper, God, what might you want me to say right now? I'm listening. Ecclesiastes tells us there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens, a time to be silent and a time to speak. And I'm going to skip down a little bit into the italicized words. It says, it was truly a profound secret from God's heart to mine when in silence he whispered to my soul, you are not set aside, you are set apart. This statement settled me, changed me, and prepared me to share this same message with you. And then here I highlighted in the book a sentence that really just stuck by me. It says, there is something wonderfully sacred that happens when a girl chooses to realize that being set aside is actually God's call for her to be set apart. And that sentence right there just burned in me. I didn't even finish the chapter because I'm like, oh my goodness. I was just searching so hard for a word today, and it finally came to me. So That's where it came from. But when I tell this is no promo, but when I tell you this book is honestly, truly amazing. I'm starting now to take tabs and highlight certain sentences and books of the Bible in here. But this book is something to honestly get. I know some people were talking about this book is about divorce. I mean, you can say, I mean, it's not specifically or particularly about divorce, but it's about feeling lonely and rejected. So that divorce kind of ties in with that topic. But I have my notebook here full of notes, so I'm ready to go into it. So being set apart and not set aside. So when you're talking about set apart and set aside, you kind of want to look at the context and you want to kind of see the difference between being set aside and being set apart. And saying being set aside, I feel like is you're being put on the sidelines. I feel like saying you're being put set aside has a more negative connotation on the word itself. And being set apart, to me, I feel like when I'm saying God set me apart, it's saying he set me apart, or it set me separate from a group of people, from a certain situation for a purpose. But being set aside is like I'm being on the sidelines. You know what I'm saying? So just to give a little background information to help you guys kind of understand where I'm coming from. So growing up, high school, I don't really remember as strongly. I think I did have a couple of friends in middle school. It wasn't a lot, but you know, it's middle school. What can you do? But especially in high school, you know, high school is when you're bringing all of the people that you grew up with in your younger years into kind of adulthood. Not really adulthood yet, but more so. When you think of high school, you think of, oh my goodness, I'm going to be in harder classes. I'm going to be around older boys, older girls. All that kind of stuff goes into play. So it kind of just wakes you up a little bit once you hit high school. And that's how it was for me. So when I got to high school, people in my age group, I did not hang out with. And I was always known as a girl who was very mature for her age. And I'm pretty sure a lot of women, usually women mature faster than guys anyway. No offense to you fellas, but just saying. But that's just the nature of a woman. A lot of people all the time always told me that you're so beyond your years. You're such an old soul. That's probably why you don't have any friends, because of that. You're not childish. You're not trying to do all these worldly things. You're just kind of reserved, and that's okay. But it took me a long time to understand or actually realize that that was actually okay to be that way. It's not like I'm trying to be antisocial on purpose. It's not that I'm trying to be isolated on purpose. It's just that's just how the dice rolled. So growing up, I was literally always alone. So in high school, I did have friends, and don't get me wrong, I did have friends. I had a small group of friends, handful full of friends, and those friendships of course did not last that long. Going back to being mature for my age, I was always friends with older people, and me being so young, you know, your parents get involved and it's like, oh, you're not going to hang out with these seniors and these juniors. They're going out drinking, smoking, doing everything else. You're not old enough for that. You don't even have a license yet. You don't have a learner's permit yet, type of stuff. And that's what I was always hit with, and I never understood that. And of course, like I said, it took me a while to grasp, you know, that. So, you know, the older friends always going out doing things, it was like, just because of that age difference, I was always set apart. That was always my separation, was my age. But my mindset, I'm not gonna say it was the same, but it was way beyond my years. You know what I'm saying? So just putting it that way. Not saying the people that I did hang out with were really immature, it's just the mindset. Just by that, I was always feeling isolated. And I always used to pray to God. I'm like, God, I don't understand why I'm always feeling so left out, why I don't ever have friends I can bring home, I can just hang out with, I could call on the phone. And you know, like I said before, like in elementary school, I had a best friend. I remember her name. And we hung out all the time. But as we got older, we were just two different people, you know, and it was just like every time I became friends with someone, it was like something, not even something bad, but it's just something always happened to where I was separated or set apart. And I did not understand why. So getting older and going through the 9th and 10th and 11th, 12th grade, I'm just gonna jump to my 12th grade year because I feel like the 10th and 11th was kind of a blur. But my senior year in high school was really breaking point of friendships and why I really didn't understand a lot of things. So basically, I had a small group of friends I always hung out with. Like I said, I was on the cheerleading squad. I was the captain of the cheerleading squad. You know, you would think a girl like that would be very popular. She would have a lot of friends. She would always have someone to hang out with. In the beginning, it was like that. But very shortly after, it started to dwindle down. And not to really go into deep detail about the whole why the friendship stuff didn't work, but just a brief overview, it was just a lot of miscommunication, basically. Saying all that to say this, it's like I did not understand why I could not keep friends. I could make a friend, but I could not keep. All right. And it's like I could make friends, but I could never keep a friend, and I did not understand that. So again, feeling set apart. Going on into my senior year, I'll even jump over to graduation. You know, I sung for my graduation. I sung Mariah Carey's Hero. I sung that for my graduation. And you would think even before you would have, you know, your closest friends giving you pep talk and just trying to hold you down and, you know, try to make you feel less nervous, because I was really nervous, you know what I'm saying? So stadium full of people, of course I'm gonna be nervous. But just saying all that is just like, you know, you would think I would have some friends, be taking pictures, going to parties, just enjoying graduation, just getting someone to kind of give you a pep talk, all that stuff. And it was like, I didn't get that support. I didn't have the support. At the time, I had a different boyfriend, so I had him there. I had my family there. I had one of my friends there, one friend that I could always depend on. She was there. I had her, I had my ex-boyfriend, and then I had my family there to support me. And that was all I ever had. But my best friend that I had lived in a different state. You know, it wasn't far, but we lived in two different areas. So it was kind of, you know, it wasn't really like a tangible physical friendship at the time. It was always just kind of like a phone call thing, which was fine, which that's how some people operate sometimes, but it was like, it was never that physical one-on-one. So to kind of tie it back in, it was like at the time, you know, I wasn't going out partying. I think on my graduation, I went out with my best friend and my ex. We went out to eat and then went home, and that was it. And you're thinking, that's not your typical graduation. This is the one time you graduate high school and you're just gonna go out to eat. You can go out to eat during the weekday. You know what I'm saying? This is the weekend, you graduated, it's on a Saturday night. Just dealing with all of that. And I'm just like, God, why am I always feeling so left out? I remember times in high school where I would end up sitting by myself at lunch. I would find myself, you know, even sitting at a table full of people, felt so lonely. No one talked to me. And it wasn't like people purposely didn't talk to me. It was just that mindset was different. And I'm not trying to say I was superior over them, because I'm not saying that at all. It's just that mindset level. People always seen me as like a mom. And even in college, to jump over into college, that was my nickname, Mama J. And it was like people always, all the time, just seen me as this older woman, this older soul. And and that's when I say God revealed that to me. I just guess that was the reason why I could never hold on to friends. So just going back to that sentence, there is something wonderfully sacred that happens when a girl chooses to realize that being set aside is actually God's call for her to be set apart. And I go back to that sentence every time I think about this, because I feel like that's God's answer for me. If you're feeling like that and you're feeling alone and you feel like you can't hold on to friends, maybe that's God saying, I need you to focus. I don't need you to have a bunch of friends around you distracting you. I was bringing the latest gossip. I was bringing the latest drama. I was bringing the latest issue with them, or, you know, their own relationship. And not saying that's bad, you know, be there for your friend if you have them, but just saying, maybe God just needs you to focus and not have all of these distractions around. And that's just how I sing for myself. You know, back then I didn't really see myself trying to be a motivational speaker, trying to push people and to help and encourage people. But it's like, if I had all of that in my head, I would not be able to focus the way I can focus now. Having a stable, healthy relationship helps. You know, you can have a relationship, you can have friends. It's just like things like that sometimes can be a little bit more of a distraction. And I think that's why God always kind of just set me apart. Not aside, but set me apart from having friends. With all of that, you know, I just feel like at the end of the day, it's not that you're a bad person. It's not that you're not easy to hang around. It's not that you're not approachable. It might play into it, but that doesn't mean that's why you can't have friends, or you don't get friends, or you feel isolated, things like that. But take it from me, I spent 80% of my entire high school days walking alone, not having a lot of people come up to me, talking to me. And it's not even about people having to come up to me, talk to me. It's just to have that conversation, that, you know, that friendship, that one-on-one peer type of relationship thing. It was just never there. And, you know, I've even talked to my father and my mom about it before. And I'm just like, I don't understand why I'm always feeling so left out. I just feel like a lot of people don't want to hang out with me. And that's mainly the thing that they would always tell me. Jalen, you're just beyond your years. Not everyone is like you. Not everyone thinks like you. Not everyone wants to be kind of reserved and focusing on God and not doing worldly things. Not everyone's like that. And that's okay. But it just goes to show that sometimes you can't look at everything in a bad situation. If you always find yourself alone, even after you try to make friends and stuff, maybe that's God just telling you, hey, I need you to focus just on me. Don't worry about having all those friends. Don't worry about having all these events and, you know, all these contacts in your phone to call, and just worry about, you know, maybe just focus on me. Focus on reading the Bible. Focus on me. That's the thing that got me. I was just like, okay, God, you got it. I'm going to focus on you and just you. And it's not saying just because of that I became antisocial or mean or stuff. It's just I still talk to people. I would still help people out if they needed it, type of stuff like that. But it was just, as far as having friends, it was just, even when I wasn't saved and I was in college. I don't know if some of you guys had watched the vlogs. The vlogs are still out there. I can't find the password to the account to take them down, but the vlogs are still up there, and I had friends, you know, I still see them out on Snapchat, God bless them, because they're still doing good. And it's like, even then I had friends, but it's like that soon dwindled down too. It's because I just felt like even doing worldly things, even being in the mix, it just did not feel like my spot. It didn't feel like my scene, basically. I just felt like I was not supposed to be there. I feel like I was not supposed to be cursing and having sex and doing all these kinds of things. And it's just like, you know, who am I to try to portray this person, but I'm not living that lifestyle? And it's like, I have to make both of them relate. What I preach is how I need to live. And that's how it was supposed to be. And I just feel like God needed me to be set apart because of that, just to kind of give you guys some insight. Because anytime I have a message, I always want to back myself up with a word, just in case someone tries to tell me I'm talking gibberish. No, I'm speaking Bible. John 15:19 says, and I'm reading the ASV version, if ye were of the world would love its own. But because ye are not of the world, but I choose you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. And like I said, this is not saying because I'm saved, and if you're not saved, saying I'm superior, or if someone else may be superior over you. It's not that at all. Please do not think I'm saying that people who are saved compared to unbelievers or whatever are superior. No, it's just that statement right there. Because you are not of the world, God chooses you. God chooses you to be set apart. And that's okay. God helped me realize I'm setting you apart because I need you to be focused, because you have such an important mission to be on. I need you to be focused from the time you were such and such age to the time when you start to be such and such age. I need you to be focused. And it's like, of course, being out of God's will, sometimes we get off. And before I was saying, you know, doing things that wasn't of God's will, of course we get off course, sets us back a little bit or a lot, gets us out of season type of thing. That's when we get off key and out of God's will. But to hop back in it and get back in our ordered steps, that's what God is referring to, because He loves us. He chooses us. And everyone is chosen. That's the thing. Everyone is chosen, but it's your choice. But it's our choice if we want to carry out that. And because I chose to carry out that, and I guess God just has such a strong hold on me and a lot of you, you know, I just feel like maybe that's why we can't hold on to friends. Maybe that's why we can really dig deep into, you know what I'm saying? I hope this makes some kind of sense. It's because, you know, after all of that being said and done, God has a mission and He needs you to be focused. So think about it this way. If God came and sat right on the edge of your bed and says, I need you to be focused because I need you to do something by such and such time. I need you to touch this person. I need you to help save this person. I need you to help bring this person to the church and get saved and all this and that. But if you're out doing whatever, God ain't gonna be able to talk to you because you ain't listening. But it's like, if He chooses you, take that and go with it. Because I thank God every day He has a mission set out for me, because I feel I'm a chosen one for Him. It's a lot of us out there, preachers, ministers, whoever else, you know, doing the works of the Lord, being a servant. I just feel so grateful to be able to do that, because it's like, oh my goodness, if I didn't have a mission, what would I do? And for all the ones who feel like you don't have purpose or you don't have a mission, oh, absolutely, you do. You do. Talk to God and ask God, what is my mission? What is my purpose? What do I need to do to get into my ordered steps so I can do the will of God? Please, God, tell me and reveal to me and let me know what I need to do to change myself to be in alignment with yours. Make my heart pure. Open me up to the mindset that you have, that my mindset can be the same as yours, so that I know exactly what to do, what to say, how to act, and how to do it the way you want me to do it. And no, it's not simple. It's a process, but it's a lot of focusing in on the word itself. It's a lot of talking and meditating with God to understand that. And if you're out and about doing many things and just not really focusing, you're not going to hear him. But you got to be able to dig deep and hold on to his word, because he's not going to tell you anything different. He's not going to tell you anything wrong. The word is the word. And it's like, I just trust God so much with my life. It's like anything that he wants me to do, I'm ready. I might say I'm ready, but God needs me to go through some things to get ready. But I feel like the reason why I went through what I went through during my high school and college days, things like that, is because he needed me to be focused, to be able to do this right here and wherever else this may take me. He needs me to be focused. And if that's the case, if that's the will of God for me, then I will take that over anything, anything. If he needs me to be focused, then I'm going to be focused. But stay strong and hold on to God's word, because that is our armor against all evil, against all worldly things. That's what's going to hold us together and keep us holding on to God. And that's what's going to keep us grounded in his word and allow us to pursue and not only be learners, but doers, to help save somebody, to help reach a soul. That's what it's all about. Like I said before, that's what our church is in right now, is the marketplace is reaching, to not stereotype, to not, it's preach, teach, and reach. We're here to reach people, and we want to get to a point where our kingdom mindset meets the marketplace. And we use our kingdom mindsets and the things that we learn at the level that we are to help reach people, to bring them over, and to help them reach God and seek God and be saved. So if you feel set apart, don't feel like you're being isolated. Don't feel like you're being set aside, because you're not. God has purpose behind that. Everything that you go through, everything that you deal with, down to every thought, has a purpose. Just trust God. So I hope this was very helpful. I know it might not have been that long, but I hope this message helped someone or reached someone. So if you're new, I'm Jay. And if you're not new, just thank you so much for supporting me. Just let me know your feedback down below. If you need any kind of topic that that you think maybe I should talk about, let me know and I'll dig deep into that. But besides all of that, I love you guys and I love you so much. Be blessed, be careful. And God willing, I'll see y'all in my next video.